guys have ever thought for a second, or did it ever occur to your head that something was at play in your lives, that you were the main character of your own play within your lives? Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It occurred to me. It kind of happened on me too, and it was really intriguing for me because this sort of idea, it was introduced. I first learned about it on one of Shakespeare's plays, As You Like It, in the monologue that begins, "All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players." And it goes on, and the character who says this monologue, he goes on talking about the average life of a boy who grows up, he goes to school, then he's a young man and he goes to war, then he's a young man again and he falls in love and he's an old man, and it basically talks about his life depicting based on his age and how that affects him until he is dead and all turns to ash. And so I believe that I was really interested in this concept, and that is why I decided to research this dramaturgical theory, or dramaturgy. And I believe that by learning more about this theory, people would learn more about how it would affect interacting and socializing all around us and with other people. And yeah, I'll discuss about this theory and who developed it, as well as its main principles, such as the impression management. Okay, so the dramaturgical theory was created by a man named Irving Goffman, and he first introduced it in a book he published in 1959 called The Presentation of Self in Everyday Life. And in this book, he introduced the idea of, and he according to a source by Ashley Crossman in a website for abouteducation.com, in her words, she analyzed that in this book, Goffman, he introduced the concept that life is like a never-ending play, and that everyone who crosses this stage is a player. Everyone has a role to play in this never-ending sequence of events, and that he describes this life having a front stage and a backstage. Like how actors, when they perform on the front stage, they have an identity to reveal to a frontal audience in everyday life, and this audience in this back region, where the actors are able to go into their private lives and they are alone, they are finally able to reveal their true identities to themselves, whereas they can also practice how to perform in front of an audience in the front stage again. And so Goffman's model, the dramaturgical model, it is based on these main principles: social setting, appearance, and manner of interaction. So social setting is the physical setting where the audience, where the player is, or the actor, or the person in question is depicting themselves. And in this social setting, how would you say, like how actors decorate a setting for their play, so do people. They decorate it with their own props, and this helps the audience. This helps gives an impression on the audience of who they are and what they are, what they do, what their occupation is. And so the next principle is appearance, and the purpose of this is to tell the audience about the character themselves, what their status, what their occupation, what their personal commitments are. You know how like actors they dress up costumes based on how they want the audience to perceive them. And so finally there is the manner of interaction. And in this principle, the character they portray their emotions because they want the because they're telling the audience how they're going to act, and they're warning the audience of what to expect from them. And so then there's the impression management, and in a website I found last updated by Jason Chen last November. He analyzed it as the impression management focusing on the role theory, which is how individual actors create, defend, maintain, enhance their social identities throughout the assumptions. And its main goal is for the actors to give an amazing first impression on the audience, and the audience in question doesn't have to be real or imaginary, but their point is for them to make an impression that will really excite the audience and will really live up to their expectations and their reality. And so in conclusion, I really was interested in this topic, and I hope that you guys were too, and here's my sources.